All right, let's talk about something we all try to avoid: failure. We're taught from day one to fear it, to see it as the end of the road. But today, we're going to flip that idea completely on its head. We're going to explore the radical concept that failure isn't just necessary, it's actually the most powerful tool you have for building a truly successful life.
So I really want you to think about this for a second. What if every single misstep, every project that just didn't work out, every idea that fell flat, what if that wasn't a mark against you? What if instead it was a secret weapon being forged in your arsenal? Seriously, what if failure was the training ground for becoming unstoppable?
Okay, but to even get there, we first have to shatter this massive idea that holds so many of us back: the myth of perfection. You know what I'm talking about? Our whole culture is obsessed with the flawless resume, the perfect project launch, this illusion that success is effortless. But it's a trap. It keeps us from taking the very risks that actually lead to real growth.
Think about it like this. You've got two completely different blades. On one side, you have the museum piece. It is perfect. It's gleaming, not a single scratch on it. It's beautiful to look at, sure, but it's also totally useless. It's never been tested. Then, on the other side, you have the warrior's blade. It's nicked up, it's scarred, it's far from perfect, but every single one of those marks tells a story: a battle fought, a lesson learned, a victory won. So which one is actually stronger? Which one would you want by your side when things get tough? So if we want to become that warrior's blade, we have to embrace the place where it gets made. And that brings us to what we're calling the forge of failure. And listen, this isn't some place of shame. No way. This is a place of transformation. This is the fire where all that raw potential gets turned into undeniable strength.
So what does that process actually look like? Well, first, you start as raw ore. That's your potential, your big idea, your ambition. Then you're thrown into the fire. That's the huge challenge, the new venture, the difficult thing you have to do. Next, the hammer comes down. Bam! That's the failure, the mistake, the harsh feedback. It hurts, but it reshapes you. And finally, the quench. You're plunged into the water, and all that stress locks in your new, stronger form. That right there, that's resilience.
And this whole forging process, it's not just about surviving. It actually gives you these powerful gifts, traits that people who've played it safe their whole lives can never, ever truly develop. These are like the hidden treasures you only find when you've messed up. So, the first gift is grit. Now, this isn't just about being tough, it's about being flexible when you're under pressure. It's the hardened temper of the steel that lets it bend, where a brittle, untested blade would just snap in two. Grit is that deep, quiet confidence that you can handle whatever comes next because you've handled it before. The second gift, innovation. See, every time you fail and have to figure out a new way forward, it's like you're sharpening your edge on a whetstone. You are forced to get creative, to see things from new angles, to come up with solutions that someone just following a perfect script would never, ever find. Your mistakes are literally what create your uniquely sharp edge. And finally, you forge fearlessness. And let's be clear, this isn't about not feeling fear. Not at all. It's about having that profound confidence that only comes from being tested in the arena. You know your own strength because you've seen your breaking points and you've survived them. You're willing to take bigger swings because you're no longer terrified of missing.
Okay, so the theory is powerful, right? But let's get practical. How do we actually start using failure as a tool instead of just putting up with it? How do we consciously step into that forge and start wielding this process for our own good? All right, let's break down some tactics. First, mine for data. When something goes wrong, stop seeing it as an emotional disaster and start treating it like pure information. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? And the most important question, why? Second, you've got to reframe the narrative. You are not a failure. You're a scientist, an explorer who's learning through experiments. Third, and this one is a game changer, set failure quotas. Actively aim to try so many new things that some failure is basically guaranteed. This gives you permission to be bold. And finally, seek honest feedback. That is your whetstone. Find people who will tell you the truth, no sugarcoating, so you can constantly sharpen your game.
You know, when you really integrate this way of thinking, your entire identity starts to shift. You stop being someone who's defined by their successes, and you start being someone who is strengthened by their setbacks. You become unstoppable, not because you never fall down, but because you know deep down that every single fall just makes you more formidable. Really, this whole thing comes down to one core idea. Stop protecting your blade from the world. Start using the world to sharpen your blade. Your talent, your skills, your potential, they aren't meant to be kept in some pristine, perfect condition. They are meant to be used, to be tested, and to be honed against the real challenges of the real world. So, look around you. Your life, right now, is not a museum you have to tiptoe through. It's your forge. It is your training ground. Every single challenge is an opportunity to heat the metal, and every setback is another strike of the hammer. So the only question left is this: what will you forge?